This video is a continuation of the Kitchen Planning Part 1 video for the Gatekeeper's Lodge project. This project builds on the AutoCAD file of the Gatekeeper's Lodge, where you have completed the design development red lines from a previous assignment. In addition, you should have the basic kitchen cabinet configuration from the previous video, where the base cabinets and countertop lines establish the L-shaped kitchen configuration with an island workstation, a 36-inch clear floor space parallel to the sink elevation, and a 42-inch clear floor space parallel to the range elevation establish the placement of the kitchen island. In this phase of the kitchen development, we will place the three components that make up the kitchen work triangle: the sink, range, and refrigerator. Once the appliances have been placed, we will start the base cabinet layout, following the industry standard sizing. Download the kitchen and bathroom assets file for this assignment, entitled kitchenbathblocks.dwg. These are the specific kitchen and bathroom blocks you will need for this project. Instead of opening this file, you will be importing the blocks into the Design Center or Block Library in AutoCAD. To do this, at the command line, type Insert, return Enter key. Alternatively, on a Mac the shortcut key is Command 2 on the keyboard, and on a PC the shortcut key is Control 2 on the keyboard. You will now need to load the external kitchen bath blocks file into the block library. On a Mac, locate the library icon and pick on it. From the pull-down menu, locate the option Browse Block Libraries. The list you see here on my computer already contains an ample block library. You will probably not have all of these categories of objects yet in your block library. You will add more blocks to your library over time. You will now see the blocks that have been provided to you for this project. We will place the apron front sink first. Establish a vertical construction line for the placement of the sink, centered on the middle window. Locate and double-click on the Plan View Sink icon in the block library. If the OSNAPS places the sink to an unexpected location, use the Move command to center it to the front of the countertop line as you see me do here. An apron front sink extends proud, which means it has a forward presentation of the front view. This is very different than other types of sinks, such as drop-in and undermount sink types. We will need to adjust the countertop and base cabinet lines to accommodate the sink properly. Using the distance command, measure the width of the sink. Considering that base cabinets are specified in 3-inch wide increments, what size cabinet will best fit the sink in this instance? Once you've determined the base cabinet width, divide by 2, so that you can offset the line equally on each side of the vertical construction line. The sink is now centered between two vertical cabinet lines. Notice that the front of the sink overlaps the construction lines. Is the specified width here enough to accommodate the sink? To determine if the cabinet is properly sized, let's look at a couple of real-world examples of how an apron sink fits into a cabinet. In the first image, you can clearly see that the cabinet is wider than the sink. If we followed this example, we have not sized the cabinet wide enough. Compare this to the second example, where in this image, the sink appears to be exactly the same width as the cabinet. What are the technical considerations here? Let's look ahead at the drawing development. If there is an adjacent dishwasher as you see here, does the door conflict with the overlap of the sink front? In this case, you can clearly see that there is a conflict between the front of the sink and the dishwasher door. This will need to be addressed. One way to address the spacing issue is to build out the sides of the sink cabinet with spacers or filler strips. You now have a choice to make in your drawing. You can either choose a wide enough cabinet, or you can choose filler strips adjacent to the sink to provide operational space for the doors of the adjacent cabinets and dishwasher. Always consult the sink manufacturer's technical specifications for the recommended cabinet size and installation guidelines. These can be downloaded from the manufacturer's website on the product landing page. The specification shown here is an example and does not pertain to the exact sink in the project. Problem solve the width of the cabinet based on the sink provided for use in this assignment as a critical thinking exercise. At this stage of the design process, the sink size will be perhaps known, but additional details such as sink depth and material type may not yet be defined. Therefore, it is important for you to know which decisions can be made in the different phases of the design process. In the Layer panel, locate the layer entitled I-P-Fix, where P-Fix stands for plumbing fixture. If you do not have this layer, you will need to create it. The properties of the plumbing fixture layer include: assign the layer name as I-P-Fix. Layer color should be an index color, such as color number 4. Line type should be continuous. Line weight should be between 0.007 inches and 0.014 inches. Change the sink layer definition from layer 0 to layer I-P-Fix. Now locate the I-objects below layer and make it current. Using the line command, draft the base cabinet lines over the construction reference lines. Make sure that you stop the line at the horizontal base cabinet line. Note that the base cabinet line overlaps the object lines of the sink. In the hierarchy of importance, continuous lines are the lines that are shown if two lines occupy the same plane in a drawing. This is referred to as the alphabet of lines. Therefore, we will trim away the horizontal hidden 2 base cabinet line. Additionally, we will trim away the countertop line from the sink object lines because the countertop does not extend through the sink. These are important details to pay attention to in a kitchen drawing. Erase the construction lines. The next cabinet to define is the dishwasher placement, which is typically adjacent to the sink and can be placed to the left or the right side of the sink. Dishwashers fit into a 24-inch wide base dishwasher cabinet. To depict this cabinet, offset one of the vertical lines of the sink basin cabinet. Draft diagonal lines from edge to edge to indicate there is an open cabinet for an appliance. Use the distance command to measure the remaining space to the left of the dishwasher cabinet. You will need to plan how many cabinets can be placed in this area, keeping in mind that cabinets are defined in increments of 3 inches. Once you have specified the cabinets to the left of the sink, it is time to define the cabinet layout, this time to the right side of the sink. A good place to start when working with an L-shaped kitchen configuration is to decide whether you will have a blind cabinet, a corner cabinet, or no cabinet, which creates an area of unused, dead space in the corner. The decision to choose one of these options is based on how your client will use the space, but beyond that consideration, you will have to work out the space like a jigsaw puzzle. What will fit within the space? Later on, how will the balance of cabinets look in the elevation view? Just because you choose one corner cabinet option at this point in the design process doesn't mean that is what the overall design will entail later on, in the final phase of the design process. For now, make the best educated guess by factoring in which cabinets, defined in the 3-inch incremental widths, will best fit in the space. Finalize the kitchen cabinet and appliance space plan. If you cannot divide up the length of space in an even increment of 3-inch widths, leave the additional footage at the end of the run of cabinets, such as where the freestanding refrigerator is located. The refrigerator and range do not require cabinets. Both appliances are freestanding. You will design the cabinets around the open space for the appliances. The range will need 3/4 of an inch or less of space on either side, and the refrigerator can be located in the remaining open space at the end of the run of cabinets. Don't forget to divide up the cabinets that make up the island configuration too. To finalize the plan for this phase of the design process, you will need to dimension each cabinet and the clear floor space between the island and main kitchen elevations.